Right, so we can start. Good afternoon.
Yeah,
My
good.
name is Sachin, good to have you here with us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's so nice that you've agreed to, be live with us. The idea is that whatever we discuss, if it can benefit somebody else also, so
sure.
that would be nice. Um, while we can obviously try and whatever learn from each other. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. So maybe you can give a little background of what all you are doing, and then we can slowly move into the discussion.
Yeah, definitely. So uh, we came to know about you both and the work you are doing around 2 months ago when you had different sessions on the educationists and the philosophers in the field of education. We had
Mm-hmm.
attended those webinars and those online programs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for like you had J. Krishnamurti and many other
Seven
people
months.
who, yeah, seven masters, learning from seven
Mm-hmm.
masters. That is when we started knowing you. And and this COVID, the pause that COVID gave us made us to reflect on whatever we had done so far. And it
Mm-hmm.
was the right time that you people came in our uh, life of our the journey of education. And we were realizing that there is, there's a show CID called CID जिसमें बोलते हैं कुछ तो गड़बड़ है दया. So we were realizing that there are many gadbads in the education system and the way we are dealing with education too. But we were not understanding how to overcome whatever is wrong and how to go about
Mm-hmm.
it. And we were constantly seeking for different answers and not the perfect ones, but we were seeking certain things. And that is the time when we came across you both and your work. And so we started finding some clues and hints in all the online programs that you conducted. That is
Mm-hmm.
when integrated learning also started. And we were always, so we had started integrated learning in some sense. Uh, like now I can connect the dots. And we run
Mm-hmm.
this school since 2014. The school started in the year 2010, and
Mm-hmm.
we are situated on a farm. We
Okay.
shifted from the city of Nagpur 4 years back when our
Mm-hmm.
son Shashwat was born. And before that, the school was running. And now children from 19 villages are picked and dropped by three
Mm-hmm.
buses of ours. These children are majorly from the farming community. So either they are kids of the farmers or they are kids of the
Mm-hmm.
farm laborers. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and some of the other professions that these people have are that of fabrication and welding and carpentry and pottery. These are the different
Mm.
occupations that these parents have, but most of them belong to the farming background. So,
Okay.
we have different challenges in this context, but we are still of the opinion that uh, we want to, with respect to quality, we don't think that we should uh, compromise on anything. In the sense that we understand that the parents are sending to the school so that these children, when they grow up, they earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but at the same time, we also want. Uh, so we are a little confused on that part, and uh, we are trying, and so we are aligning agriculture and sports in their regular curriculum, and we have put
Okay.
aside the curriculum completely now after COVID, after the
Mm.
pause and after the reflections and after integrated learning. So uh, I know I am not putting it very properly, but whatever live we are doing, like we are manufacturing oil, groundnut
Hmm.
oil. So
Hmm.
children
Hmm.
are becoming the part of that entire process, that so that they understand that farming is not just about sowing, but it is also about value addition and the joy
Right.
you get out of value adding something. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then while playing kabaddi, they learn how maths and like knowing the average of their team or the score that of the like averages of the scores. And there are many other opportunities, learning opportunities that the children get throughout the day in the school.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
we have reflected and what we are now thinking is four different approaches for four different age brackets. So we
Hmm.
were wondering if uh, that is okay, or so out of those four groups, there is one group for which we have completely and we want to experiment and explore how does self-directed learning happen with them,
Hmm.
and how
Hmm.
do we go about it. So this is for fifth, sixth, and seventh grade children, in which they will be mixing them up, and we'll see how the magic or whatever unfolds. We want to see that.
Hmm.
For the
Hmm.
earlier
Hmm.
bracket, the nursery till second standard, mm, for them, nothing else will be in the syllabus apart from love and compassion. They
Hmm.
will just blossom in love, and so they'll be in the nature, with the nature throughout, and they will become our teachers for the span they are in.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we'll
Hmm.
be completely engrossed in observing them. So our son Shashwat, yesterday he got hurt. He got injured. Shashwat got injured. So Sachin was doing. Uh, Sachin was the way हम थोड़ा ऐसा करते हैं ना, the way we do that. So Sachin was doing the same with Shashwat, and Shashwat immediately replied, "Baba, don't do anything. It will recover by itself. It will
Hmm.
automatically get
Hmm.
recovered." So
Hmm.
there's a lot to learn. We realize because of Shashwat and because of all your sessions now, and that constant churning is happening now. But yeah, so
Over the years, we have taken decisions. I think we should brief that also to you. Like last year, we took couple of decisions. One of them was it was experiment in the school. For the two grades, we decided that the period will not end.
Sorry, somehow your voice is not coming clear,
Yeah,
Sachin.
yeah. Can you listen me now?
Bhagrishri's
Can you
was
hear me now?
very clear. Yeah, yeah, now,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was little away from mic. Yeah. So last
yeah.
year
I
we took
think.
this decision that for two classes, I believe, uh, whenever the bell rings, it doesn't mean that the period is over for them. For rest of the school, it was a usual school. But for those two classes, if children are engrossed, if they are enjoying the period, let the period happen. Let the math teacher continue, let the science teacher or whatever experiments they are doing, let them continue as long as they want to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
the feedback is now the teachers want it for the whole school. They don't want periods. They don't want that
Mm.
uh, ringing of the bell thing and all. So this is one area where even teachers have evolved a little bit, understanding that it doesn't make sense to end abruptly somewhere just because 35 minutes are over or 45 minutes are over. So
Mm-hmm.
this is
Mm-hmm.
one thing which we did last year. One thing is the parents who are sending their kids to the school, uh, they are sending it thinking it is a conventional school. Though we
Okay.
started as a conventional school, over the years we have understood that there is no meaning in running the conventional school in a conventional manner,
Right.
and
Right.
therefore initially the focus was on strength also, by the teachers and by other
Mm-hmm.
people, and that's why we have 317 students till last year. But this year we took a
Mm-hmm.
decision that we will not have more than 25 students in a class.
for
Uh,
the
Okay.
Either batches.
for the younger
Yeah, for the pre-primary or up to second grade or something, we will not have more than 10 to 15 students in one classroom. That's what we have decided. That's one thing. So the number itself is a little bit bigger than what we have seen all the non-conventional schools in last couple of years, where and because as Bhagishri mentioned, these people are sending their kids to the school thinking that this will ensure a good earning to them. This
Mm-hmm.
will make them knowledgeable. Of course, they will be knowledgeable. There is no doubt. But it will bring back some kind of dignity into their life. So these are
Mm-hmm.
some of the things which parents wish uh, to achieve.
Hmm.
Like somebody's son should become engineer or doctor or whatever, because this is what
Hmm.
they have seen, that these are the people who get respect in the society, and
Hmm.
their jobs don't get any respect in the society, and there is a lot of hard work also. So these are another challenges apart from the educational challenges what we have, like mindset or whatever. uh,
Hmm.
Sachin is little unwell
yeah.
since last
Yeah.
2 3 days.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we are little uh, uh, not so we are still trying to um, balance this out in the sense that how and when we visit villages, so we have parent teacher meetings in the villages itself, and those are not even called
Hmm.
as meetings. We go around to the villages around thrice a week, so that we understand the context much better, and then we realize that for them making a living is also important, and we cannot neglect that part. So
Hmm. Hmm.
we understand the need now, but we also want to make sure that the real learning happens so that the kids don't become dependent on us throughout their lives or dependent on anybody, and they become responsible and self-aware. So uh, we are somehow not being able to bridge the gap or merge these two three things together so that everything is achieved in the sense all the things fall in place, even if it is a gradual, and we know that it is a gradual process. So one major step that we took was uh, uh,
Hmm.
making a residential students mandatory for the residential facility mandatory for the seventh grade onwards kids. So these so last year there were 21 kids staying with us who have crossed that age, and we wish that we had enough money so that we could have made it compulsory for third standard onwards itself. But we are not able to manage that. So at least seventh ke baad they are staying with us. And
Hmm.
this year, additionally, whenever the school starts, 15 students will join the earlier 21 students. So,
Hmm.
and the transformation that the journey of transformation that happened with these 21 children is amazing because only
Hmm.
because of the environment of love and warmth that they received. So
Hmm.
now, when we
Hmm.
met these kids during COVID, this one line was written on many of the heads that please start it as early as possible. We want to be there.
Hmm. Hmm.
And just one example, one of the boy Ayush, he was is suffering with sickle cell, the
Hmm.
disease of
Hmm.
sickle cell, and every month he had to go to hospital when he was staying home. Last one
Hmm.
entire year, ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ कि he had to we had to take him to the hospital because he was so happy. He was so
Hmm.
so the first time he got that touch of trust and I am there with you wala touch. So these kids have different like, these needs which any kid has, but somehow their
Hmm.
parents
Hmm.
cannot fulfill or cannot express that love for different reasons. So
Hmm. Hmm.
they are residential, and that is the good part. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So all of this is there. We don't know whether we have put it properly or not. And I was somehow seeing my own picture in the camera, and I was judging myself constantly. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. So okay, so I think I'll need to little more understand the whole setup before we start somewhere. So just give me you've told me that there are about 300 odd children, and then how many teachers do you have?
25, 26.
25 teachers, 25, 26 teachers. Okay, and these are subject teachers.
Yeah,
They are
they
subject
started as
teachers.
subject teachers.
Hmm. And so during the day, is there a time during the day when the regular so-called classes happens, as in the periods happen, how it happens in a conventional school?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that how it works still? Okay, so you have a kind of a timetable similar to it. You may not be a slave to the bell, but you still have a timetable kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the elder kids, there is no timetable as such.
Hmm.
So,
And what happens in those classes? Is it still a teacher driven kind of a thing where teacher teaches? How does it work?
yeah. So till last year, it was like that. Much of it was like that.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but now, since we are understanding integrated learning, I am like I'm transferring whatever I'm learning from you both.
Hmm.
They are
Hmm.
now into coming into the zone of uh, school. And before integrated learning started, we had few sessions with the teachers separately, in the sense that we need to change something, and then how can we make it a more children driven or student driven class. This is what we
Hmm.
had discussions for around 3 4 days with the
Okay.
teacher, but
So
now
what
we are
were
getting
some
it in
of
a better.
the yeah, what were some of the ideas that came from them when you said let's make it student driven or child driven? What were some of the ideas that came from them?
Yeah, so some of them were not understanding कि ऐसा भी हो सकता है.
Sure,
And
sure.
while some of them were amazed with the fact that learning would really happen if this starts. Uh, and so some of them were like the way I became an engineer and an MBA and whatever my school, similar exposure happened
Hmm,
with these
hmm,
teachers.
hmm,
So coming out
hmm.
of that zone, the way we are conditioned is little difficult. And so, but continuous reflection and continuous discussion, say at the end of the fourth day, they were into the zone ki and this is possible, and we are excited of how it unfolds. But we will have to keep ourselves, we will have to keep in mind that we need a lot of patience, and we will have to stop ourselves a many number of times, and we don't know whether we'll be able to stop ourselves and
Hmm,
not
hmm,
interfere in
hmm,
their learning process.
hmm. So in terms of implementation of this child-driven learning, how is it happening now, or is it still waiting for the COVID to get over? Then,
Yeah.
right. So in terms of practically, have you tried this child-driven learning? Has that happened for some time, few months or something?
Not really.
Not yet, not yet.
Yeah,
Okay, but
but
you're
whenever
keen to do that.
yeah, we are keen to do that. And
Hmm.
but organically, whenever children, when they were staying here, if they came up with some ideas, like they wanted to grow organic indigenous cotton, uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they wanted to decide what should they grow on their plots. So organically, when anything like this happened, when the children sat on the driver's seat and they wanted to drive something, that happened. So in that way, it happened.
Hmm. 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 Okay, okay, fair enough. So, what I am kind of understanding, so correct me if I'm wrong. So, till now it was more or less broadly the conventional kind of classroom, but now you want to transform that into a child led classroom or a child led
Yeah,
learning. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. Okay. Um, okay, so the first thought I would have is that's let's start with baby steps. Yeah,
Yeah,
not if we suddenly change everything, then the everybody may be little lost, right from parents to teachers to children, and all the whatever, let's say the let's call it the pressure will come on to you, right? So let's start slowly, and perhaps in my thought, I don't know about this age group thing. That is, I think, however you want to do it, you can do it. That's a very insignificant thing, according to me. If you can allow all of them to mix and learn, meaning nothing like that, but because you have a classroom structure already existing, you may not be able to suddenly say no classes from tomorrow. Right, that might be just too radical. So maybe someday it will happen, maybe 6 months, 8 months, 10 months down the line, that there will be no classes at all, and all the children from whatever the youngest to the oldest will all be mixing together. But that let's say let's not hurry into all of that. Let's say how slowly we can start. Yeah. uh, So there are many ways in which you can start, but primarily in a child-led learning, there are three things which are upside down from the regular conventional schooling. The first thing which is turned around is who teaches, right? So obviously the teacher stops teaching and the child starts teaching either himself or to each other, right? So
Yeah.
the first thing which changes is that whatever, let's call it, the teacher stops teaching, and we will come to what can be the teacher's role, and the children start teaching and learning, each other or themselves or whatever, right? So this is one aspect. Okay. I'm not saying that you have to do this as the first. I'm just whatever is coming to my mind, I'm just rattling off. We'll see how we can put it together, right? So that's the first. That's one aspect of it, which is very very important. Yeah, and this is without changing anything else. So imagine that if your regular period is, let's say, 35 minutes, and whatever, let's say children are learning, let's say, history in it or whatever, maths in it, the teacher stops teaching and the teacher invites children to start teaching each other, or maybe initially, okay, few of them will say, okay, tomorrow's lesson, these four children, they will raise their hands, we will be the teachers, and they will kind of prepare and they will come and kind of teach, kind of thing. I'm just
Yeah.
giving you as a very broad example. How it will actually happen, obviously, you will have to see in each one, it would be very different and dynamic. And that is where the role of the mentor comes in. Whoever is currently the teacher, that person plays the role of a mentor or a guide, right? Which help the children do that. So that's one area in which an immediate change can happen, right? Uh, the other area in which changes can happen, so is all there are so many other functions that happen, right? So I let me just so this is one: teacher stops teaching and children start teaching and learning. Yeah. And the second one could be, so what are the other things? So what's coming to your mind? What are the other things other than the teaching that happens in the school, in the class and in the school? What are some of the other things that happen?
Yeah. So mixed classes play together.
Okay, so play happens. Okay. Yeah. Carry on. What else happens? Even
uh,
inside the classroom, what else happens? Even outside the classroom, what happens? Other than the very specific teaching, what else happens?
so discussions happens, activities happen, designing of the projects happen.
Okay, projects happen. Okay, activities happen. Okay, what else?
So if there is some event in the school, the planning
Event
of that
happens.
event.
Events happen. Okay, what else happen?
Yeah. Um, yeah. Children presenting whatever they have noticed or learned, that happens.
Presentations happens. Okay. Even
Yeah.
small things you can add to this. For example, do you collect together in the morning? Is there some kind of an assembly that happens?
Yeah. Now earlier it was like throughout the week in the morning, but now it
Mhm.
happens just once a week because it makes more sense.
Okay. Whatever is the frequency, that
Yeah.
is okay. Assembly happens. What else happens?
Yeah.
But
You were saying some amount of farming and sports happen. Are you calling them as activities?
Yeah. Farming happens, sports
Hmm.
happen.
uh,
Um,
Hmm.
every morning they assemble
yeah.
and do some exercise.
Yeah. Every morning they assemble and they exercise together.
Yeah, okay.
For the
Exercise
residential
happen.
for the residential kids, yoga happens. Meditation happens. Even with the school normal day school kids,
Okay.
some chanting or meditation happens.
Okay, okay, okay. What else happens inside the school? What else happens? Does somebody clean the school? How does that work? Who takes
Yeah, so
care of
the
the building? They
children clean
already
their
clean it.
classes.
So,
Yeah,
okay, cleaning happens. Yeah.
post lunch they clean it, and post the entire school day gets over, they clean.
What about the food?
They
They get the tiffins,
Oh, they bring the
and
difference. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
only
fair
the
enough.
residential kids have the food here in the school.
Okay, 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 fair enough. So there's a whole lot of these activities that are happening, right?
Yeah,
Now, that is the other very interesting area because all of these we can hand over to for the children to lead.
okay.
You can, and as I said, I'm just, I'm not saying all of them you start with children to lead. You have to then, based on your group, your assessment, you have to decide which one you want children to lead. Okay.
Yeah,
This list is there on the screen. Whatever you said, I've just kind of typed it out. Any or many or all or few, all activities can be handed over to children for it to go ahead. Maybe already you are doing, some of them are led by children, but again, it's not about the age. Even the very younger ones can do their own leading, right? A 6-year-old can also lead, a 16-year-old can also lead. Okay, that doesn't matter. And if we do not have any specific expectations, oh, it has to be this good only. The idea is very simple. The more they lead, the more leaders they become,
yeah,
right? Leaders for their own life. Finally, they have to lead their own life. So right from
yeah,
now, they are now. So this is the other area that you can start thinking. Okay, so all of these activities we are doing. Maybe right now some teacher is the one who kind of drives these. Let's say drives morning exercise, or drives the cleaning, or drives the projects. But slowly, all of this can be given off to children as leads. So they can form their own teams, they can come decide. We will come to how the role of the facilitators. I'm just using the word facilitator. You can use whatever term you want to use.
yeah,
So one is the core teaching. Even within the core teaching, maybe so that part we have left out. So you can see whether you want to attach that to the core teaching, or you want to attach it to this list. But there's also a list of, I don't know whether you have it, kind of some kind of test or homework, or if you have those kind of things, which is similar to projects and activities, then those also can be led by children. That depending on whether you have something like that. Yeah. Okay. So this is the second area where you can start. Yeah. The third area, which now becomes even more interesting, is the very curriculum. Right. So till now we are saying, okay, we can let the curriculum be standardized, as in the same. We already have the subjects in different classes, but if you want, curriculum can also be led by children, and that becomes also very interesting. Which means the whole decision as to what are we going to learn today, or this week, or this month, or you can even with the slightly older children, throw the whole year's syllabus at them and say, now decide what do you want to do with it.
yeah,
Right, you have to learn this. Let's say I have to learn 10 chapters in geography. I give the whole curriculum to them and say, you decide when and how you want to do it. Maybe you want
yeah,
to sit every day in the first month itself, learn the whole book in the first month so that you can play the rest of the year.
yeah,
That is also possible. Or you may say, okay, we want to learn little every day, or we will learn it in this way, or 1 month maths and 1 month geography, or how they want to do is can also be led by children. And this is where a lot of interesting things happen, because when you start mixing up age groups, then you don't even take 1 year's syllabus. Then you may even take 2 year, 3 years, 4 years syllabus together, and throw that all together. Right? Okay, so in geography, if we take this year's book, this year's, so 4 years, we have to learn all of this. And you may be surprised in 6 months, they can learn 3 or 4 years syllabus.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like there is no boundaries then.
Yeah.
Right? Because they just
Because it's by them.
by them, it's totally designed by them. Uh,
Yeah.
right. So that's can be the third aspect of it. So if I look at the school life of a child, in your context, there is the teaching learning part, there is this which includes homework, test, etc. Then there is these all these other activities that we just made a list of, and then we talked about the curriculum. That's probably the whole of it. Yeah. And you can decide now where you want to start with. Yeah, and you can pick and choose. Not that you have to start only in one of these categories. I've just divided it into three categories for my own thinking, not that it is that way. Finally, it's just a list of things. Yeah. So, your thoughts?
Yeah. So, yeah, interesting. And uh, like 2, 3 questions, like,
Hmm.
um, uh, so you were saying that um uh, whatever these groups that we have made right now for our own, since the approach, we are thinking that we'll see and work with this approach and explore if this is okay or not with respect to the nursery to second standard, as one bunch, third and fourth as one bunch, fifth, sixth, seventh as one, and eighth, ninth another large bunch. This is what we have thought, but then
Hmm.
putting the curriculum on in their basket and asking
Hmm.
them to decide on what all the, like, even if there are certain skills that they want to learn, say
Hmm.
cooking, or say communication, or whatever,
Yeah,
so
they decide.
they will
Yeah.
decide it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And so with respect to facilitators, uh,
Yeah, we will come to that. First, with
we'll
these
come to
three
that.
areas, yeah, we'll come to that. With these three, what are your thoughts and what are your questions? And then we will, in a few minutes, we'll hop
Yeah.
over to the
So
facilitation
teacher,
part.
so the first one, teacher stops teaching and she invites, is a wonderful thing, because I've seen some teachers and some current facilitators who, yeah, uh, तो अभी तक तो वो लोग teachers ही थे. So now calling them facilitators would be wrong, Abhi. But
Hmm, hmm.
they used to go to the class and full 1 hour, like they just used to do all the hard work, and the kids were
Hmm,
sitting like
hmm.
this. And
Yeah. Now we want to switch that totally. Now they should be sitting like this, and children should be doing all the hard work. Literally
yeah,
sitting in one corner, doing
yeah,
nothing. They could be reading a storybook for all you know.
yeah,
It
yeah.
should be that jobless. Maria Montessori says the teacher in the classroom should be completely jobless. That's the target.
Yeah,
And I think that's an amazing target to be jobless.
yeah,
Yeah, because then the whole ownership, the whole leadership, everything is onto the children. And see, you started off by saying parents have this thing that the children should earn later
yeah,
on, and maybe they also expect children should give this 10th and whatever 10th, 11th, 12th, or whatever it is, and maybe
yeah,
go
yeah,
to college, whatever is their expectation. Now that's exactly my point. Who will guarantee that? Who will ensure that they are able to learn also and give those tests and exams also, and later on earn also, right? And the answer to me of all these questions is the child himself or herself. If the child becomes responsible for his or her learning, his or her exams, his or her earning, so learning, earning, exams, everything, if the child becomes responsible, then that's it. We have done our job, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
And so our focus is to make them responsible for all these things. They are learning,
yeah,
earning, and exams, or learning, exams, earning, in that order, right? And the way to do that is to give them that responsibility.
yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Great. Great idea.
Yeah. He said great idea. So if the
Yeah,
voice was
yeah, I
unclear.
got it. I got it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any
Yeah.
thoughts on this? More questions, or you want to little talk about the facilitation also now?
Uh, yeah. If something crops up in my head later, I'll ask the
Sure,
question.
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'll first share uh, what we do here.
Hmm.
I'm not saying you have to do the same. That's not the point. But just to give you something which has very well kind of worked for us. Yeah. So, what we do here is um, we divide the whole thinking process in our minds. I'm talking about as a facilitator or as you both into three parts, right? And that those three parts are planning, then doing, and then reflecting. And these
Yeah.
three are very, according to us, very very important. uh, so let us say we are, we're talking about children. Let's just say, let's take the first one. If we want children to teach,
Hmm.
right? So let us say I am a teacher in one of your classroom, let's say fifth standard, and I go to that class and I say, so first thing I need to do is to invite them to now plan their teaching. So I would, for example, I'm just taking an example. I would invite them that, dear, we have to cover this much, let's say, these 5 chapters in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. Now, who all would like to teach these in the next, let's say, 3 weeks? Raise your hand. Then who all want to form their own teams of teaching? Okay. So Monday, who is teaching? Oh, okay, Monday Bhagishri is teaching. Oh, Tuesday, who is teaching? Okay, Tuesday such is teaching, and so on. So I have a little chart, and I can give that job also to one of the child who is now writing all the names, who is teaching on what day. So now the children know in the next 3 weeks we have to cover these 5 chapters and who is doing the job on which day. So this is
Yeah.
what I'm calling as the planning process, right? Where
Yeah.
there is clarity amongst everybody who all are going to teach, and who are the teams, who is with you. So some time is spent, in fact a fair amount of time is spent in doing this planning work. And maybe one of the child makes this chart, and this chart is put up in the classroom. Now everybody is clear how these 3 weeks will flow, or 4 weeks, whatever time period. I'm just taking an example right now. Yeah. So that is the planning part. Now, what happens is the second step of doing, which I will come in just a little while. I'm entering the step of doing. Okay, how does that doing happen? I'm just skipping that step. Let's say some doing happens, as in the children do the teaching, and now 3 weeks has passed. Okay. Now, what will I do? I will do, actually, I will not do after 3 weeks. I will actually do it after every day, plus after every week. Suppose today you both are teaching. Let's say you are a team. Okay. Bhagishri and Sachin are teaching. So after this, I will have a small reflection with you. How was your teaching? What worked, what did not work, what happened, what children, other children, were they listening to you, or whatever is your you know reflection. So I will help you both to reflect, and I will also ask the rest of the class to reflect. How are these two as teachers? How was the class go? Was it interesting? Was it boring? Was it difficult? Was it easy? What
Separately
changes?
or together?
uh, that you decide. That's a small thing.
Okay.
Yeah. The idea is that I would do a reflection, maybe a small reflection on a daily basis, maybe a more detailed reflection at the end of the week, and maybe an even more detailed reflection at the end of 3 weeks. Yeah. So that it is not that only at the end of the 3 weeks we realize that this whole idea was a flop, right? If
Yeah.
anything needs to be changed, we are reflecting also on a daily basis and changing it. So that, suppose they gave a feedback to this team one, saying that no, they were not, they were only saying something, we were not understanding what they were saying, we don't want them, or something. Let's say the class gives the feedback. So then the next group now knows how to prepare it differently, right? The team two is ready, is also listening to the reflection, and then team two is also working, and so on. So there is a planning at the beginning, and then there is a ongoing reflection, and then also obviously at the end of the uh, so this way, the work is still done, everything by children, but we are ensuring that there is a process of planning and reflecting, which takes care of the ups and downs that will happen. Yeah. It is very similar to how you would teach. If you would teach, you will also come back and reflect how was my class, what worked,
Yeah.
what did not. Here, instead of doing it you yourself, the whole group is doing.
Yeah.
The second part, the doing part, is also further split into, we split it into 3 steps. Okay. We call it design, and then we say discuss, and then we say do. These are the 3 steps. So now, let us say there is one team of children who are. I've also put it on screen. So there's one group of children who say, okay, who are to teach tomorrow. Okay, let's say you two are the children who have to teach tomorrow or whatever. You have taken the responsibility. So now I will invite you to design your whatever class, how you will do it. So you will sit and design. That time I will not be with you, because you have to first think. You both have to sit together and say, okay, what will we do tomorrow? How will we do it? Will we play a game? Will we teach on the blackboard? Will we do some exercise? Will we go out and do something? Or will we do an activity? You guys will think. So that is your designing part. Once you have designed, you will come to me as the facilitator, and we will discuss your design. And that is the time I can give some guidance. Oh, you have not taken care of this, and you have not taken care of this, and how will this happen? So now, because I'm not involved directly, I'm not doing the planning. See, normally a teacher does that. The teacher designs her lesson plan, let's call it. Right? Here, the children are designing the lesson plan, or however they want to do it, and they are coming and discussing with the teacher, who gives her or his inputs to the children, and then the children go ahead and do it. So there is a process of designing it. So the teacher role is important here. Teacher may also say, oh, you have covered these 4 things, you have not covered this 5th thing, what about this, what about that? So the teacher has to have a slightly zoomed out overview of the whole thing. Yeah. So the teacher knows the big plan. The teacher knows how the children are doing. And obviously this is where you would need to mentor your teachers. The idea is not to now start telling the children, no, don't do this. I will tell you how you should teach. They should let the child lead, and also use the reflection to get them back to. So this is a learning journey even for the teachers, how to do this process. But this is how we do it here. So the teacher's role shifts from being a teacher to a facilitator or a guide. Okay, let's call guide as a simpler word. And the teacher is now guiding these teams, right, on how to do this particular class. Right.
Yeah.
Now, I was just taking an example of one of the example, which was of the children teaching, right? But this can be applied anywhere, whether it is cooking, whether it is, let us say, the projects, or whether it's farming, or whether it's assembly, or morning exercise, or cleaning. In everything, planning can happen. How will we clean the school? How will we clean our classrooms? Okay, then so they will design their own way of cleaning. They can even design their own tools of cleaning. They can design new ways of cleaning their classroom, not the way we have been doing. Then we will all discuss. Like, for example, just for fun, some children designed a whole dance way of cleaning. They will dance also, and they will clean also, and they'll play some music also. So I think children have a lot more innovation, and perhaps a lot of our role is to invite children to do it in their way, not just follow us as adults. Because then what's the point? Right? If they have to do what we are anyway doing it, then their thinking is not coming into the play. Right? So this whole process of planning and doing and reflecting is there for everything. Even for cleaning, there is a reflection. How is the cleaning happening? Is this of good quality? How else will we improve on it? How can we make it more fun for us, interesting for us? How can we decrease the time or increase the time or whatever it is? Same way for farming. How do we want to do it? Where do we get the cow dung? Where do we get this? What if it is not raining? There is less thing. Which books can we read to learn farming? Which videos can we? So there's so much to reflect on, right? And
Yeah.
that becomes the whole journey. So whichever area you start out of the three areas that we talked about is not important. Something similar to that is what I would say. And that is the role of the teacher, is to guide them at these three steps, guide them with planning, guide them with the designing of their doing, and then guide them with the reflection. Just guide them, but let them lead at all the time. So the teacher has a fairly engaged role, and as you would have guessed, a lot of things the teacher has to do while in the classroom is to actually make notes, actually make observations as to how the children are doing, which child is doing that way, which child is struggling, which child needs help. So if child A needs help, I find among other children who can help this child, right? Suppose one child
Yeah.
is struggling, or five children are struggling, but there will be five children who are not struggling. Now these five who are not struggling can guide the five who are struggling, rather than me trying to guide him. So if
Yeah.
I am little away from the whole thing, I'm able to see the bigger picture and be able to the, so they have to transform slowly from their role of teaching to their role of guide. But a lot of that can automatically happen when we give the teaching to children, which is why I put that as the first category. Once we hand over their own teaching to them, then, and when the teachers now know that they are not going to teach, then they actually start becoming, then you can tell them that, okay, after every session, let us all 25 of us sit together, let's say in the evening or every alternate day, or definitely at the end of the week, and share our notes. How did it go in my group? How did the children do? What were my observations? And that is where both of you will play a very critical. Now you are going to guide the 25 to be able to be guides and not keep jumping back to becoming a teacher, because that
Yeah.
that temptation is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the teaching group is not teaching properly, wait, you stop. I will teach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they will have to see, no, that is not the time to intervene. The time to intervene is at the time of reflection. So initially children will also struggle because they're not used to doing it, and this is something the guide should know and allow them to struggle, so that this struggle makes them know what they are supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
let me pause for your thoughts and questions.
Yeah. So many things going on in the head right now simultaneously. Uh, but yeah, so even though we will be doing the same subject thing in few classes, the way that you have brought now will bring in a lot of learning. We are sure about it, because that will be a challenge for them, in the sense that they will decide, and they'll also learn decision making. They'll also learn designing of any particular activity or any project. They will understand how to discuss with the team. So they'll learn a lot of uh, uh, the things which we cannot separately plan for, or which otherwise we would have to make it a separate thing, which doesn't make any sense. Like all those subtle things of how to plan, how to decide, how to choose. Uh, so uska application will happen here.
Yeah. And this children teaching others need not be done in the way that one team has to be the teacher. Okay, there is even a much more interesting way to do that, in that way of doing it is, suppose today this is the chapter, any subject, maths, English, geography, whatever is the subject, that doesn't matter. Okay. Uh, the chapter is given, and let's say the class has 25 children. So let's say we divide them into six group of four each. Yeah. Now each of that group is going to study the chapter on their own, and they are trying to understand it. And then each group will make, let's say, a 1 minute or 2 minute presentation to the rest of them after, let's say, 30 minutes. And so that's round one, where each one is involved. So there are no real teachers, there are no students. There's working in small group, working to understand what is happening, and then they are presenting to each other. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we review, okay, where is the whole group? Then who needs help? Again, the grouping is regrouped. So that's a even more interesting and even more empowering way of doing it, where there is no one group teaching everybody. Rather, whole class is divided into smaller groups. They work in smaller groups, and then they connect back with the whole group with smaller presentations. In fact, this particular model was tried out in Tamil Nadu government schools. Almost hundreds of government schools this was tried out with the 8th standard. Yeah, in about, I think this experiment was about 10 15 years back. Yeah,
Okay.
can you imagine? And there are YouTube videos of it. At least one or two I have seen, where this class is. I think the videos that I've seen is of a geography class, where this is a girls' school, so there are girls divided into groups of teams of 4 or 5, and they are reading that chapter. They are making notes. They are making beautiful, colorful notes with lots of colors. And visual maps of whatever they, and after each group has made, so they are given, let's say, about 20 25 minutes or half an hour to do that. So they will only read it, they will only understand it, discuss it among themselves, make a little map, and then each group will stand and share it with the rest of the group, with the rest of the class, like a presentation. 1 minute or 2 minutes each will share, and at the end the teacher will share if there is anything that is left over.
Okay.
And all this while, so if it's a 40 minutes class, 38 minutes the teacher is doing nothing. She's just sitting in one corner. And you can literally see that in the video, that she's just sitting doing nothing, right? Because the children are so busy in doing their own learning. So you can either start with this group teaching learning, or you can start with small teams becoming the teacher and teaching the rest. And this decision, you want to do it this way or that way, can also be children's decision. You
Yeah.
don't need to you can offer them as, hey, there are 2 options, or there could be even more options which they can come up with.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, they may say, let's divide the whole class into 2 groups, and then 2 groups will learn. However, so I'm just trying to give you more examples of how a lot of different structures can be created by the children, right? Because it is not that any one way of doing it is right. It is whatever energizes them.
Yeah.
But the process, according to me, by and large remains the same. It still goes to the same planning, doing, reflecting. They plan, they do it, and then they reflect back how it was, what was difficult, what was easy, what worked, what did not work, so on. The reflection part is so very important, because that
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
gives them the feedback, and that's the opportunity for the teacher also to give feedback. First is, let's say they are working in 4 5 groups, each group is giving feedback to each other, and maybe at the end the teacher can give feedback to all the groups. And sometimes
Yeah.
that is not necessary, because the children have already covered all the points. So
Yeah.
all the teacher needs to say is hello, and after 40 minutes, bye. Literally,
Yeah.
the teacher's role becomes that. But the teacher in the classroom is busy taking notes. Oh, Sachin is doing this. Oh, here, Bakishi is struggling with this. Oh, this child is doing this. Oh, that child is. So the teacher is busy. It's not that teacher has no job, but teacher has a very important job to make these detailed notes, so that she can see that each child gets what help the child needs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, some children might, in this whole process, some children might be totally left out. So that is where the teacher comes in, because she's outside in that sense. So she has all the time to
I can see that.
observe. Yeah,
Yeah.
she can observe, make notes, and then when she meets other teachers in the teachers meeting or the guides meeting, that time she can share. When she shares with all of you, you can also you see, oh, this child we need to support or help in this particular case, and so on and so forth. because one child
Yeah.
may need help in maths, one child may need help in farming, one child may need help in sports, and one child may need help in yoga and so on.
Yeah. Yeah. So last year, I now remember that the maths syllabus was too huge, and what we had done was distribute the chapters according to their own interest. They had picked up
Hmm.
chapters, the
Hmm.
eighth
Hmm.
grade students, and then one girl, like there are only 8 students in the current ninth grade.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
last year they were in eighth, and there were just 8 students. So one girl explaining the entire chapter or giving exercises to the entire of the entire chapter to these 7 remaining students. And
Awesome.
the way,
Yeah.
the way they explained each other was much better, and the kids could take it in a much better way than the teacher did it. So that is when we also realized that this works.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
suddenly everything had to stop.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we could continue, and we could also. So what we did not imagine was is that this can happen with the younger kids also.
All ages.
Even the
Absolutely all
third,
ages.
fourth grade students can also do the same. In fact,
Yes. Yes.
they love Teachers' Day only because they get to become teachers on that particular day. But every day could be Teachers' Day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's totally driven by them. Yeah.
I think it will be on the contrary that only on Teachers' Day teacher will teach here. That should be the day where we wish to go. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, on the Teachers' Day, we will all realize all of us are teachers. So we'll wish everybody and give
yeah,
sweets
yeah,
to everybody. And
yeah.
we'll touch feet of each other.
Each other. Yes, yes. Yeah. So there is one Varkari Sampradaya in Maharashtra.
Hmm.
There are who go for Wari to Pandharpur every year. So they have this tradition of touching the feet of each other. Be it
Yes,
if father son
yes,
both are going, both will touch the feet of each other. That's how the tradition
yes,
is. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah. We, as in we both, we are constantly under that pressure that we both take for ourselves. Nobody puts it on us. But the
Hmm.
expectations from the parents, and how will the children become capable of earning money, so making a living out of it. And there are some children who just love farming. There are some
Hmm.
children who don't. One of the child who stays in our he is completely into making of bullock carts, making in the
Hmm.
sense
Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
toys, making the toy bullock carts and everything. He's constantly busy in that, and he makes innovations in that particular activity every time. So we at times unnecessarily take pressure of the parents, whereas we need to focus more on the kids. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah, and so as you saw, the third part is the curriculum part. So slowly, when they start driving the curriculum, they may even start spending a lot of time of their day into these kind of activities, which is their interest. Somebody is interested in making and designing, somebody is into farming, somebody is into processing, somebody maybe none of these, somebody is into sports. So then they can start spending more of their time into the fields that they want to spend their time on, and less onto just the studies part. So that journey will evolve as they start feeling that yes, they are in control of now their life and they are responsible. And I think my guess is that the parents will also start seeing it after some time, how responsible, how they are the leaders of themselves. So how responsible, how driven, how clear their children are becoming, and that's when they start appreciating. So initially you will get a lot of whatever pushback from them, right? Where maybe the first few months when things have to settle down, but once this children start having this power in their hands and they start becoming that responsible, the parents start seeing that invariably, because
Yeah,
their whole way of talking, because their whole way of thinking has changed. Now they are
yeah,
Yeah.
responsible, they have to prepare for the class tomorrow, teacher doesn't need to prepare, right? So
yeah,
that changes the whole thinking. When thinking changes, our language changes, our
Yes.
yeah,
approach changes, everything else changes then.
yeah. Yeah.
And
So
once again, I'm repeating, it's nothing to do with age. Yeah, at all ages, uh, children can be amazing leader of themselves. We don't want them to lead others. Most importantly, they should be able to lead their own life.
yeah, yeah. One thing, Ratnesh, that the new education policy and everything has come now, and they say that there are no 10th board exams. There would be just 12th board, even though it will get implemented in a year or 2 or 3 years, whatever. So these batches will have to go for a 10th board. The current batches will have to go for it, and
Sure.
since the parents need that certificate
Yeah.
of 10th
Yeah.
board and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what we thought was, ki, yeah, and I'm asking you that also, that we thought that it is possible that till 8th grade or till say 7th grade, from nursery till 7th, it's a big time. Why don't we just let them explore and be make them on their own, and no academic syllabus ka pressure should be there on the kids, and can it happen that only after 7th or 8th they come on that stupid job of mugging up? I don't know whether they'll need to do that later if the foundation is very strong. uh,
Yeah, see, ideally and technically speaking, you can do that. I'm just saying that right now, from where you are, that is the whatever. Let's say that's the go-to stage. But let's not jump immediately there. If you immediately say nothing, no classes, no nothing, then even for teachers, even for the parents, even for children to get this thing that okay, can we be non-curriculum driven right from let's say first standard until whatever standard. Uh, that is I would say the ideal state. But let's slowly move towards that. As I said right at the beginning, that let's take baby steps. Let's start with one thing at a time and keep on adding. When a stage will come, parents only will say, "Yeah, why is he studying this? He's saying so much interest in this. Let him do that." Right. So we have to take the whole ecosystem with us. If the parents
yeah,
start revolting, then what's the point of doing it? Then they will start pulling them out of your school and sending to somewhere else where they do maths and science and English and history.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So we will have to it will have to be taken in its own flow, in its own time. Obviously I can't, and I'm sure even you can't predict how much time will it take to transit from there to there. And I would even say right now, let me not even have that dream that it should be like that, because then that kind of builds up inside me that oh, it should be like. Right now, let's see how we can let them lead their life. And as I said, slowly they will only say, let's reduce this, or let's put this aside, and let's do that. They'll keep coming back to you with more interesting designs of their own life.
yeah, yeah,
So
I
that
think
will happen.
I think
Yeah.
children will take it to greater heights than what we can think of.
Yeah, and we are there with them. So we
Yeah,
are there with them. We are there to guide them, to mentor them, and to dream with them.
yeah,
Yeah. So even this dream you will share with them somewhere down the line. Let's say after a year or after 1.5 years, that this is what we are dreaming. And they may also say, "Wow, let's do it this way." Then you will ask them, "Oh, yeah, but your parents want this. Now you convince your parents." Right? So
yeah,
again, it becomes they have to lead even that aspect of their life where
yeah,
they are in sync with their parents, and they can't convince them parents by talking. They'll have to convince by showing that they can do a day's productive work, which can be so amazing that we need
yeah,
not bind them by curriculum by
yeah,
10th and 12th, right? So see,
yeah,
all of these things. Uh, it just talking like that sound very utopian, very ideal, but for it to be made practical, we have to we have to walk one step at a time and
yes,
go
yeah,
yes.
the
yeah,
whole journey. Yeah.
yeah. So, and a little transformation in the mindset of the children and of the parents is happening also. Like one of the students in eighth grade last year, we took them to a corporate. They had some quiz and a day in a corporate kind of a thing, and they
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
saw all of that and big buildings and everything. And when he was asked about the school and where do you study and what do you study, so he went on the stage where all other urban kids had also come. And
Hmm. Hmm.
that's where he stood and said that we are not studying, हम लोग उस डिग्री के टुकड़े के लिए नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं. So he had that. And so
Nice. Nice.
yeah. And even when the school represented in one of the model making competition, and the topic was sustainable farming, and because it was their home ground topic, they could
Hmm.
uh, present it in a way which was very like the visitors, the judges, all of them were so amazed the way these children did it. And we sent only four children to the competition, and all of them never spoke much in the school, but we wanted them to give them to have some exposure, so that they get a good opportunity. And they were the people who won the first prize out of 21 urban schools. So
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
they have that in them. Lot of space and just help and warmth. That's it. So uh, I don't know how to thank you for opening all these windows and frames that you speak in Jagriti and integrated learning about. And as parents also of Shashwat, we are blessed with whatever you are giving to us. And also as parents of the other 316, our kids, not
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
biological ones, but our kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for them also we feel like we have so much of gratitude for both of you.
Oh, that pleasure is totally mine. There is, it is totally mutual. When you are talking about 315, 16 children, I am so excited. I'm just, kind of literally uneasy in my chair. I want to get out of here, come out to your place and see all that action and interact with everybody there. So it is this that is the you can say that is the real thank you. Yeah, to see that, yes, children, both of you are thinking like that, and not just thinking like that, want to immediately implement it, take it forward in that way, and so much pro children. I think that itself is more than the thank you that I can receive. So absolutely, we are all together. There is no need of any thank you. We are just one team working together for children. You might be in another place, I might be in another place. How does that matter? That just doesn't
Yeah,
matter at all, right? So
yeah.
there's no need of any thank yous.
Yeah, yeah. Not
We are
a
just
thank
a
you,
team.
but it's really very sweet of you, and very humble and generous of you to openly share whatever happens in Arohi on the digital platform. Educate, like places of education. Not everyone does that. They, like, even though they understand that in businesses and in corporates probably competition is okay, but with respect to education, all of us should just openly share whatever good is happening, because goodness
Yeah,
has to be spread and shared with each other. So
yeah.
that is one great thing that you guys are doing. Uh, and we just love whatever happens during Jagriti. Lot of questions happen, and one complaint is that with Jagriti, you awaken us and try to awaken us, okay? And at 11 p.m. in the night, this churning starts, okay? And then you sleep properly. I'm sure you sleep after that. It becomes very difficult for us to sleep then on Tuesdays
Absolutely.
and Fridays.
Sleeping is useless. So good that I'm keeping all of you awake, all of you thinking. And that's the best dream. The alive, the awakened dream.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, yes, I'm very glad that that is happening. People are losing sleep. I'm more than happy.
yeah. And after that, we have started acknowledging with more awareness whatever Shashwat is doing. And one very cute thing happened, that your Nimbu Pani is throughout the sessions, right? And suddenly, with no invitation from our end, Shashwat himself thought of making Nimbu Pani, and he used jaggery instead of sugar, and he used a ladle from the other end. And fortunately, all the resident teachers who are staying with us, all of us, and both of us, and my mother, everyone were witness of that Nimbu Pani making. Even though it wasn't a planned activity, or it wasn't anyway from us, and Shashwat himself had thought about it, and the way he placed the Nimbu inside that instrument, whatever, yeah, the way he
Squeezer.
squeezed it, yeah, squeezer, and the way he offered us to taste. So everything, so that was a wow moment for all of us, that constantly we are listening to that Nimbu Pani activity, and that is happening in front of us right now.
Only problem sometimes is he starts this Nimbu Pani activity at 11 in the night.
He has learned the right thing from me.
Yeah, yeah. So he is the Ratnesh of this place. Mm.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, all of
Good.
that is
So,
happening, and the way we are doing natural farming here and organic farming here, uh,
sure.
everything here is happening organically. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah, so that is the best part of we staying here now, and we are loving this entire journey. And we are what we are, and the way we used to have two faces in the corporate sector, now we are not having those two faces, and we are what we are. So that is the best part.
Yeah, hopefully no face now.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, so we can pause this here, and we can, as you go along, we are there to support you in whichever way you want. And obviously, we will obviously learn a lot from whatever you all do. So please keep sharing as in
Sure.
when you are able to start and do things and with children. And as in when there is an opportunity, we would love to come and visit
Please,
your
please,
place.
yes.
And we will I'm inviting you also to come and visit ROE as and when ROE campus is also working, so that you can also see how we are working here. So all obviously it's always a mutual journey. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mutual journey.
So
Exactly,
good.
exactly.
So, yeah.
We'll just declare the dates when AGVS and Arohi are open, and then we can plan the visits.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.